Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to World Online Racing, WOR, back on your screens for Friday Night War. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Tonight is the PS4 tier, and obviously the championship fight is getting thrilling, well, even more thrilling each week. But I have to say, there's one man dominating the top of the tables right now. That name is Balliner. He is currently on top spot, currently loving life on 75 points. 41 points is Midnight, who is stuck behind him. One race will at least separate Balliner and Midnight, of course, in the championship. Balliner's safe, whatever happens after today's race, but it doesn't mean to say that he doesn't need the result. I am joined with Sam Thompson. Sam, always a pleasure to have you back with me in the commentary box. We're in for a real feast tonight at Belgium.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Good evening to George himself as well. And yes, we are indeed, of course, Midnight, of course, looking to chase down that Alfa Romeo, the Dutch driver VRT Balliner in the lead of this championship. And also looking to go back to the impressive days of where he won in Bahrain as well is Midnight. But 3 wins in a row for Balliner so far. And I tell you what, that's going to be one record to beat for Midnight. He needs to really get a win on the board here today, or at least beat Balliner and put the momentum in his swing. Otherwise, this could be a bit of a tricky ride to the line for the Shazoo and Mercedes driver.
You could be absolutely right there, Sam. I have to say, sorry, folks, just having to move the lights around a little bit, but there we are. That looks a little better. But welcome back to WOR. Please, of course, leave your comments in the live chat. That is what it's there for. But today, it's all about the race. We are here for this phenomenal Belgian Grand Prix, and we've had such an amazing start here to PS4 League Racing here at WOR. It's been nothing short of thrilling. Loads of racing, breaking all expectations. Balliner doing some remarkable things. Midnight has been extraordinary as well, but not forgetting the likes of Matthew as well, who is up there, ever consistent, of course, not to mention name changer Cornet Luke as well, but many have touched the top end and certainly finished in the points, and it's made this tier very, very competitive indeed. Of course, heading around to Spa, very technical circuit, offers a lot of treacherous situations for many of the drivers. 70,000 capacity here at this track. Not a lot if you look at the whole complexity of the calendar, whereas many circuits would have 100,000 to 150,000. Belgium, only 70,000. Of course, 19 turns make up this illustrious circuit with 7.004 kilometers makes it the longest circuit on the calendar, one of the longest circuits, 4.352 miles in terms of mileage sense. But obviously, we're going to be looking forward to seeing them fly their way through Eau Rouge, up through Radion, and of course, flying through the likes of Stavelot, Blanchimont, of course, Pouon, those synonymous corner names. Well, synonymous with Formula 1 racing, that's for sure. And we'll look forward to seeing what these guys can do on track. And very shortly, we will be going out into qualifying. But Sam, obviously, Ballina currently leading the top tables. You weren't so sure, though, based on what you've heard from him, that he'll be able to cultivate a positive result here today.
He sounded quite negative to me earlier. I was talking to him earlier, and he was just saying he's a bit concerned and everything about the pace and everything and how's all going. And he seems so fine with pace. I'm not going to expose what his times were already, even though it's obviously not necessary. But it's probably just good to obviously keep it under wraps, so obviously no one's listening and knowing, you know, what his preparation is for now. Like, I'm talking about people in this tier, of course, but. He just said he wasn't really confident going into tonight, but I was like, why are you not confident? Because he's obviously won 3 races on the bounce, so surely he's got confidence going into this race, and he just doesn't seem too confident tonight. But I guess we'll have to wait and see this evening. But he's got a lot of competition, including VRT Young Power, who we need to talk about. He got P2 actually in France in the end, and he's only done 1 race, so. He could come into this frame later on in the championship because recently he is a driver who has really impressed in other leagues, and he's looking to portray that here in WOR.
Well, he certainly does have the talent. We've got plenty of great drivers here, though, and I've got to say we've been impressed with lots of them all season long, and it'll be interesting to see because it's a very, like I said, very different track, certainly here at Belgium. Lots of different corners, different technical sections of the circuit. Of course, the middle sector, I would say middle sector more technical, but there's plenty of treacherous locations. In Sector 1, obviously, Eau Rouge being the main sticking point. La Source, of course, Turn 1, very sticky if you get it wrong, certainly at the start of a race where all the cars are trying to fight for track position. Then, of course, you've got the likes of Les Coms as well. You know, plenty of areas going up through there that are treacherous. You've got to come in the right entrance speed. Exit speed's got to be good. And at the same time, you've got to make sure that you can keep your car centralized on the track without hitting the curbs. Same can be said for Bruxelles after that, where you've got to take almost a hairpin bend as such around that right-hander before you then reach the corner with no name, or no-name corner as it's known, before Pouon, where if you touch the curb at Pouon, you are heading off into obscurity. But have a look at this. Ballina now out on track, as you can see from our cameras, folks, heading up through Eau Rouge. And he really needs to start pulling something together. Now's the time to perform at Belgium, even though he's feeling a bit risky over it, Sam.
Definitely is the time to perform at Belgium, but particularly for others around him as well, challengers like Midnight, it's even more important. But for Ballina, at a track where he is claiming that he's not really confident at, if he gets a really good result here and obviously outperforms Midnight, he's just moving closer and closer towards that title. And me knowing Ballina quite well, he loves Italy, he loves Japan. They're the next 2 circuits after this race, and he loves them. So really, for Midnight, it's all about capitalization on this one. And for Ballina, just kind of, well, if it is true that he's not confident at this track and he's not expecting a good result, it's just get the best result he can, really. He doesn't need to worry. If he does retire from this race, he will not lose the championship lead in any circumstance whatsoever. So he's got that, obviously, to his advantage. However, obviously, he doesn't want Midnight to fully capitalize on such a mistake, such as retiring and him winning the race, of course, because that will close the gap so much to it's basically ruined the entire British Grand Prix win, and it's completely turned it back in Midnight's swing. So for Ballina, all about damage limitation, if it is so true that he hasn't really got the pace here.
No, absolutely. Well, he's making his way on the circuit. He's letting a Ferrari go as well. That's, I believe, that, well, I can either be Cookie Games or Dino, but they're making their way down towards the bus stop chicane. We'll be now watching Ballina make his way through bus stop now. Let's have a look and see what this man can do. Of course, like we said before, what a phenomenal season he's had. 3 wins on the spin in recent weeks after an exceptional drive at Britain, of course, at the Silverstone circuit, the Earl Grey of World Motorsport. as he makes his way down towards La Source now and powering out. Certainly needs to get a lovely exit. Does so indeed now, heading up towards Eau Rouge. And here comes Ballina now up through the next quick left and right. And I have to say, full power up here if you can. But if it goes wrong, it can clearly go wrong. Up through now the next straight. This, of course, being Kemmel. And then leading up towards Les Combes. That's semi-chicane. And what a treacherous part of the circuit this is. You've got to take a lot of the curb on the inset, but then on the outset try and take a lot as well on the left-hand side. He's hitting every curb perfectly and looking very skilled indeed. Coming around Bruxelles and hightailing it around this bend as well. You want to hug the inside curb on that one now. Powering out of No Name and looking good again. It can be hard. Invalidations are very common around that part of the track. Now through Pouon. And here comes Ballina. Certainly Ash Best nailing a 141.080 for Alfa Romeo from the get-go. Round the next right-hander this time. And this is at Campus, down towards Stavolo. And look at that, Ballina really throwing caution to the wind on this occasion. Now just comes on the outset through the next right-hander. Messina Rakin hits the top spot, breaks into the 140s. Cohen takes top spot and goes about 1.5 tenths quicker. In the Mercedes car. Of course, Mercedes currently in the championship in P2. Of course, their main man, Midnight, has got the fairer share of the points. 41 points to his name, as now we see Ballina braking hard into bus stop, a lock-up as well as he comes out on the outset, coming up towards the line. Ballina looking to get himself off of the flyer, and it's P5 alone, and doesn't qualify faster than Ash Best, and maybe a little hint into his comments there as Dino comes through. He is also in P6.
Yeah, but I do expect better from Ballina there a little bit. Looking on board on his lap, he looked a little bit shaky through a couple of corners, and of course at the exit of bus stop, he was getting a lot of wheel spin there. So I think there is a lot of time lost, and he needs to just go back to the pits and go again, as all these drivers would. But a lot of time it looked like on that lap potentially to gain. So don't expect that to be the best from Ballina, but I think he is definitely. He's definitely probably struggling a little bit for pace to start off with.
Well, absolutely. It's not looking too good for him at this moment in time, I have to say. But how about this? Shazoo Midnight has already gone quicker than that of Cohen. And the two Mercedes currently locking out the front row. This looks very familiar indeed. Scenes we usually see in Formula 1. And Shazoo Midnight would be delighted with that. Plenty of other drivers out on track. Here's Joery, who's actually, it looks like he's on a slow down lap as well. Not quite happy with what he said. And here comes Mathieu as well, who's very much up in the fight for championship glory this season. And only, I say this right now, 8 points behind that of Shazoo Midnight. So having a phenomenal season. And he scored consistently in the first 3 rounds. Only took a solitary point in the last round of Britain. So looking for a recovery here indeed. But Mathieu, with every opportunity here, he is a great contender. And certainly in the Renault, will look to get that blazing yellow on the top end of the grid order. And ideally the podium as well if he can. He's yet to touch the podium already this season, as now we're witnessing Mathieu come up across the line now. And that will send him up into P5 of 141.050. Faster than Ballina as well. So a great start for Mathieu, but he would expect better. Great to see, though, I have to say, some new names reaching the top end. Great to see Messina Rakin up there, as well as Lars Kramer.
Yeah, Lars Kramer, he is one that kind of hasn't had the season he would have wanted. Of course, on our sheet here, on our driver championship sheet, he's known as Cometa Lars, but now he's just known as Lars Kramer. But it's good to see him up there. Only a point this season. He's not had the season he would have wanted. He's participated in 3 races so far, so expect to see a lot from him tonight. And Messina Rakin is actually Shazoo name changer. If obviously some people were confused, he changed his name to Messina Rakin. So that's exactly who that is, just to stop the confusion a little bit. And he is also in the hunt to charge down Shazoo Midnight in 2nd place, only a couple of points behind. So expect him to be near up there. I do want to talk about the constructors though, of course, and how important this is now for Mercedes, because not only does Midnight have an important night, the whole team at Mercedes does. They're 42 points behind Alfa Romeo at the moment, and it is important that they close that gap. And right now they'll be absolutely over the moon with 1st and 2nd right now, particularly when Alfa Romeo are down there in the midfield in 6th and 7th at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here comes Rudy, and I know you mentioned name changer as well. He's had a podium this season already. He took the certainly the bronze P3 at the French GP at Paul Ricard, but here comes his teammate Rudy now through the bus stop chicane, and Williams be looking to try and gain a little extra here in qualifying as Rudy now comes across the line, and that's P8. So he's into the top 10. That's a 141.169. Just look at the deficit across this circuit. Certainly the top 4, all of them in the 1 minute 40s, which is an exceptional lap time indeed. But just look at Midnight's deficit. He is so far clear as Corday moves up into P3, and Shazoo really enjoying this at this moment in time. Ps 1, 2, and 3, all occupied by Shazoo drivers. And of course, Name Changer as well. I believe he's part of that fold.
Well, he was. I think he left Shazoo recently, which explains the name change in the end. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, Shazoo will probably take pride in saying that 4 of their drivers, both past and present, recently passed, if you're talking about Messina, Rakeen, of course, in the top 4. So they'll feel a little bit of pride knowing that they've got 4 drivers in the top 4 at the moment, I have to say. So well done to Shazoo so far, but we're far from over in qualifying. Let's not be a bit prejudiced towards it. There's still a long way to go.
It certainly is, and Cornet will be delighted with that P3 spot, and only finds himself approximately just over 2.5, well, just under 2.5 tenths away from Shazoo Midnight. So a great start indeed from the McLaren. In behind as well, you can see there the Williams just slowing down. We're just going to have a look further down as well, because Legend is out on an outlap. As well as Borrell as well. Now, Borrell has been an exceptional talent that we've seen a couple of times this season, and I have to say, I think there's more to come from this man. Looking forward to seeing what he can do. He pulled off some fancy moves, certainly, when we last saw him at Paul Ricard. Unfortunately, didn't score the points that he needed, but he seems like a great talent, and I'm sure that Red Bull will be taking a look with great interest with this man, because, of course, he's up there, doesn't mind a scrap, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on today. I'd imagine that Spa may well fall into his category of a preferential circuit. Of course, when you look at Paul Ricard, it's very much a flat circuit, and plenty of high-speed corners. It's a lot different here at this track, of course, here at Spa-Francorchamps, and it can really add a twist in the tail, certainly given the fact that, like I said before, I've alluded to, there's so many technical corners as Young Power moves into P4, and VRT Pat, his teammate, joining him up in P6, so Haas looking incredibly strong as well. They'll be delighted with that, and Borrell, as I say that, he, of course, slows down as well, as we now see Joey coming up through the next section. Of course, still yet to field a lap time, but Joey also no slouch on his day. It's amazing, really, Sam. We've got the benefit of so many quick drivers in all sectors of the track. We seem to have, like, at the top as Balliner goes into P2 with a phenomenal lap time, only under half a tenth quicker than, or half a tenth slower than Midnight, so he's looking exceptionally good. Approximately 20 thousandths of a second. That is absolutely unreal.
Yeah, like I said beforehand, when Balliner set his first lap, I expected him to get a much faster time, and there we go, he's gone and done it. A 40.6, it's not pole position, but he's finally split the 2 Mercedes, who have enjoyed for a long time that 1-2. Whether they'll get it back soon, all depends. Cohen most certainly won't get it back on this lap because he's invalidated, but Midnight 2 temps up, watch out for him as he now comes through sector 3.
Absolutely. Well, let's have a look, and we're just witnessing them make their way around now. Joey coming into the bus stop chicane as we see their Cohen come into the pit lane. Here comes the Racing Point, and Joey looking to try and set the bar here. P10 is where the Racing Point parks its car, and certainly the Pink Panther, I think, will be hoping for a little bit better than that. His teammate Legend, who's currently out on a fast lap, currently making his way around the circuit as well, coming into the next right-hander at Bruxelles. Very soon he'll be making his way around No Name Corner. Just over 5.5 minutes left in qualifying here, folks. Obviously, do keep it with us. The action has only just got started, remember. The one element is qualifying. It's another thing to get it in the race. Midnight is out on track 2. He's looking to set a faster lap. He knows that Balliner has gone quicker, and so it'd be a nice time. No time like the present for Midnight, and doesn't have all night to scoop up this one. Needs to try and get something in the offing now. Obviously, with 5 minutes left, enough for potentially 2 laps here in this short space of time as the black arrow of the Mercedes moves its way around the next right-hander at Les Combes, coming down through towards Bruxelles now. And a very heavy braking zone. This corner is quite deceiving, Sam. And at the same time, you've got to try and keep it on the track and ensure you don't run out too far wide, because that can lose you a hell of a lot of time.
Yeah, Sector 2 is the it's obviously the most technical one around this track. Sector 1 and Sector 3 is basically a straight line, bar one corner, really, which obviously, that being La Source into Turn 1, and of course the bus stop chicane in Sector 3. So Sector 2, very windy, very tricky for these drivers. And as you said, Le Bruxelles is also a corner that goes downhill. It's very tricky to get the brake in there, easy to lock up on the downhill there, and of course No Name as well, very easy to invalidate or get penalties at that corner alone. You go a tad bit wide and you've got yourself a warning there in the race. So these drivers will definitely be watching that corner, and obviously I do expect these drivers, as they are all very talented drivers, to not pick up too many penalties, if not any penalties at all. But it definitely will be a corner of action in terms of that side of things, and definitely towards the end of qualifying, when your heart rate probably is increased a little bit. You know that this lap is going to be very, very important. Some of these drivers possibly will make minor mistakes like that and get their laps invalidated, so watch out and see. Midnight did improve his lap time in the end. He's now on a 40.508, but it looks like he's gonna have a bunch of drivers chasing him. As I just want to check Cornet, he is also almost 2/10 up, so Cornet, watch out for him towards the end of this lap, and he's the only one really setting a lap right now.
Yeah, well, Metiu as well is out on track, making his way down towards the next right-hander, of course. He's not going to be setting this one. In fact, he's going to box, and here comes Cornet now in hot pursuit, coming down towards bus stop. And what timing this will be here with only 3 minutes remaining, of course. You'd expect all the cars to be out on outlaps very shortly. Here comes Cornet. Any improvement here for the McLaren P2? It is. And once again, parks his car within the top three. Behind Shazoo Midnight is certainly his team, certainly his teammate in terms of, well, should I say Shazoo team, to say that. But obviously the McLaren parking itself in P2. Formerly, of course, part of the McLaren Mercedes development team. They have now got Mercedes engines. And obviously now they've got to be, well, they're going to be going up against each other this time. Certainly with just over 2.5 minutes remaining. It's getting really tight now towards this end. They're all within a tenth here between Midnight and Cornet. So the times are starting to get really, really small. And the deltas will start getting really thin as well. Messina Rakeen out on outlap. So is Young Power. And also Cohen and Balliner crucially as well. So plenty to look forward to. Just look at this. The contingent of cars making their way up through Eau Rouge. And this is when the fireworks will start to kick off, Sam. Any tips from yourself as to who you think is going to get pole?
Well, I think Midnight has a strong grip on it. I'm going to be honest. He looks clear. He looks dominant. And yes, Cornet, he's got close to him. But of course, Cornet probably can get another lap in. But his tyres are going to be much worse, so I doubt he will go and choose that. I could be wrong, though, but Balliner would need a perfect lap. He would need almost a perfect lap to beat Midnight at the moment, because Midnight looks on it. He knows he needs to perform here tonight, and, you know, I know I've said it before, and it's kind of gone against me, but Midnight is ice cool. He will stay calm when he needs to, and this is a crucial moment for him, well, for all these drivers, in fact, to stay calm. So I'm going for Midnight for pole position.
Well, you've heard it here first. Sam Thompson going for, I'm going to call him the Iceman. Of course, Midnight looking to try and let fly here at the top. Of course, currently in P1, looking to stay there. Can he do it? That is the big question. Please leave your comments in the live chat, folks. Who do you think is going to be on pole position here for the Belgian Grand Prix? Here, of course, at Spa-Francorchamps. It's going to be a very interesting development, that's for sure. The top 12, all in the 140s. Ash Best in P13 downwards, all in the 141s. We did lose Cookie Games earlier as well, folks. He is retired from the session. Cornet's retired as well, so no improvement from Cornet. P2 will be his best for now. Midnight, though, crucially, has just gone across the start-finish line to commence his final fast lap here of this qualifying session. Can a Mercedes man stay on top of things, certainly here in qualifying, with just over 30 seconds left to go in normal time here at qualifying? Things are about to get risque here at Belgium. I tell you what, cannot wait for this one. The two top guys at the top, and certainly Balliner and Midnight looking to really land a blow here on this board. And we could really see a fascinating battle in the context of the championship here, as we now witness Midnight come round the next right-hander out of Les Combes, coming down through towards Brussels now, as Matty 19.29, Midnight to pit pole by 100th. And that is all that Matty's coming out with. Please leave your comments in the live chat, folks. He could well do that, Matty. You could be spot on. And Sam, it just goes to show the the quality of drivers we have on offer here, as we now witness Midnight now whipping that car around Pouon. That's exactly what you need to do. Round through the next chicane. This of course, being at Campus. And takes a lot of the curb there on the outset. Very clean lap this by Midnight, and just goes to show the impressive nature of these drivers. They leave no stone unturned, no part of the circuit untouched, and this Mercedes is going to do just that. Certainly bearing the black colours that it dons now. Of course, it used to be silver. They're still known by the silver arrows, but obviously the black arrow as well. And I have to say the Mercedes Petronas team have been a relentless force in Formula 1 now for many, many years, as he now comes through bus stop now. So first time on the board here for Midnight. The last one as well as he comes across the line. And as he does so, improvements in the offing. He certainly does. Near enough 3/10. A 140.2 indeed. Balliner about to come across the line as well. Can he pip the man in the Mercedes? He comes across. P2 is all he can muster. 2/10 at least separates him there. Young Power still in P3 for now. We got Mathieu who's coming around the next right-hander as well, this time at Stavalo. Round towards Paul Frere now, making his way around this next right-handed kink. Benny as well coming through as well in the AlphaTauri. Ash Best looking to maybe improve now. He's coming through bus stop. What can Ash Best do? Currently in P15. You'd expect better by his standards as he comes up towards the line. Can Ash Best land a blow? P7. He does improve. Mathieu coming through bus stop now as well. The Renault looking to park his car further up. Can he do that as he makes his way across? P7 goes to above Ash Best. A great time nonetheless. The AlphaTauri also out on a night lap. TGG Benny, the last man to cross the line, but a scintillating lap time by Midnight Sam. A 140.2, 2/10 quicker than Balliner. Incredible.
Yeah, I mentioned this. He was going to fight back clearly in this round, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm getting serious Hamilton versus Verstappen vibes here at the moment. Them two just keep trading the top two right now. And, you know, we talk about Young Power. Young Power is quick. Cornet, he's quick there with Balliner at Midnight at the moment. But it's these two who just seem to be unstoppable compared to everyone at the moment. These two are the top of the field, and they are going to stay at the top of the field, it looks like. And Balliner didn't seem confident going into tonight. I think he'll be a little bit more confident, although he hasn't beaten his championship rival in Midnight, to be right behind him and to potentially go into turn one with the opportunity to take the lead. He'll be very happy with that lap.
Yeah, I'm just going to relay a point that's in the live chat. Luke Humphrey, 6 drivers on a 0.7. Absolutely incredible scenes. If you look at Cohen in P5, all the way down to Messina Rakeen in P10, all of them in the 0.7s. Absolutely incredible. That just goes to show the quality on this grid, folks. Not to mention, look at how many of them are all within that second gap. Incredible scenes. And you can take that P12, of course, with the 0.7, 7/10 of a second, or should I say less than that, 5/10 of a second between Ps 1 and Ps 12. Incredible indeed. But just look at this. Midnight on pole, of course, for Mercedes. Exceptional stuff indeed. Our championship leader Balliner can only scrape P2 on the day. Young Power on P3. Cornet P4. Cohen in P5 for Mercedes as well. That's Kramer P6. Mathieu P7. Ash Best P8. Jory P9. P10 for Messina Rakeen. Benny in P11. Brain in P12. Pat in P13 with Rudy P14. Simon in P15. Legend P16. Borrell in P17 with Dino in P18. Cookie Games, of course, DNF'd in qualifying. He'll be starting from the back. But what a scintillating qualifying session, folks. Probably what we expected, a straight fist fight between the two spearheaders in the championship. Of course, not going Balliner's way this time. Midnight on top spot. Could this be the day that Midnight breaks the streak here, Sam?
Well, he's definitely going from qualifying. He's definitely looking on it this evening. Oh, we have some overcast at the moment, so possibly some rain, maybe. That will spice things up most certainly in this race. But we mustn't count out the likes of Young Power behind. Although this is a good opportunity for Midnight to get one on Balliner. Qualifying doesn't get you the points. It's the race that gets you the points in the end of the day. And if Midnight cannot relay his performances in qualifying to the race, then he could be in a bit of trouble. But he's got a lot of quick guys behind him, and they know how to race as much as they know how to qualify. So expect to see a very interesting race indeed. And especially at this track, where obviously going out of Eau Rouge, you've got a long Kemmel straight there. And as you know, with long corners, it does mean a lot of overtaking, particularly on the first lap. So Midnight will most certainly have to be the one watching out going into Les Combes.
Yeah, if you want one big secret to a great racetrack, it's variation, and Spa has that. And the brilliance of it is that it does allow for overtaking. Believe me, folks, this race is going to have a lot of quality action. Do not go away. Please ensure as well, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the World Online Racing channel. We are fastly approaching the 1K mark. I tell you what, we broke 500 subs in no time at all, but already we're eating into that. Now, as far as I'm concerned, it won't be long before we start hitting that 1,000 subs mark, so please make sure you lend your full support to World Online Racing, and thank you for joining myself and Sam Thompson for this top-tier action here on the PS4 side of WOR. It's been a pleasure bringing you all the action. Make sure you follow them on Twitter as well, at WOR League, and you can also tweet them as well by that tag. You can also tweet me. I'm at George Morgan TV. Please go ahead and do that. I'm always delighted to receive people's comments, questions, or whatever you may want to ask. You're more than welcome. As well as Sam Thompson. Sam, tell them what your Twitter handle is.
VSR Sam.
There you go. Please feel free to tweet Sam. He doesn't mind, I promise. But we're going to head towards the race now, folks, very, very shortly. Sam, I want to hear your top 3 predictions. Lay them on me.
Well, I think a Midnight win. And although what I said earlier, I think Midnight has got it today. He knows he needs to get it. He'll get it today. I think Ballina will get P2. We'll keep this 1-2 streak between the two of them. And how important it is for Mercedes, I'm going to say Cohen is going to get P3 here today.
Well, that'll be a mighty result for Mercedes, certainly. And it'll certainly go a long way to their hopes for Constructors' Glory. Alfa Romeo currently dominating that on 96 points. 42 points the deficit between Mercedes and Alfa Romeo in the Constructors' standings. So it's going to be a huge charge here for Mercedes in the offing. A great opportunity for Midnight and Cohen to get the points they need. Obviously, Alfa Romeo struggling slightly. Ash Best only in P8. And judging from the comments made by Bellina, certainly P2 is not going to be where he wants to be. He'll want to stay in tow with everything that Midnight does. I want to hear your predictions as well, folks. Please lay them on us in the chat box. I want to see who you think is going to be taking Ps 1, 2, and 3. Make sure you light up the chat area, folks. We want to see you there commenting like nobody's business as we watch Midnight now come through this final chicane along with Ballina through bus stop. And they will now take their places on the grid for the start of the Belgian Grand Prix. It's a pleasure to have you on board. Mickey saying that Midnight is OP. Zanarkand is predicting a DRS train. Hope there's some action. There certainly will be, Zanarkand. Keep it with us now as the drivers begin to line up. A Ferrari in the distance, that being Cookie Games, just about to join the rest of his compadres onto the grid. And very shortly, folks, we will be underway. There's Shazoo Midnight watching on under the lights, waiting as the green flags are waved. The stewards there ready to go, and so are we here at Spa. First light, second light, third light, fourth light, the fifth light! And it's pedal to the metal, go, 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 and TTG Benny jumped the start there, he gets a drive-through penalty, heartbreak already, but Midnight lends himself already to the front, but what a start from Young Power, who goes wheel to wheel now with Ballina, under severe pressure now as they come up through a Rouge, who's bravest, heading up this first corner of the track, there's still wheel to wheel, incredible scenes here, Ballina in the get-go, a little wheel tap, as they make their way up through towards the Kemmel Straight, still they remain, toe in toe, in mind as well, we got Jewelry trying to make a move on the outside of Ash Best, who holds on as they come up through Lane Com. Still in front, it is going to be Midnight, but Ballina is managing to hold on to that P2 spot. That's the crucial moment in this race. Incredible scenes as Cookie Games moves up 3 places. What a start to this Grand Prix, Sam.
Yeah, very well defended from Ballina there, and obviously very ballsy as well to go up El Rouge on the first lap as well between these two. Banging wheels as well, so dangerous. Any of them could have ended up on the wall, but brilliant driving from the both of them there to sort themselves out. Of course, second and third now, Ballina and Young Power. Cohen also got a really good start getting past Corner 8 very quickly, but I think the two McLarens are going to be in hunt very soon. But Cohen, he's also on the back of Young Power as well. So Midnight seems to have cleared everyone so far. Almost a second between him and Ballina. Yeah, and I've got to say, another feisty little battle is happening here is Mathieu as well, who is certainly giving Lars Kramer a few headaches. The two McLarens currently in tandem, Ps 5 and 6, Cornet and Lars Kramer making their way through Blanchimont right now, but it looks like now that Mathieu might be in trouble himself here. Here's
here comes Ash Best at bus stop chicane, taking the long way around, heading into that bend as they come on the outset, still wheel to wheel, and the favourable line, you're now heading towards Ash Best. They make their way down towards the source. We're already seeing TTG Benny come into the pits of that drive-through, but wheel to wheel, Ash Best and Matthew still round the source. Matthew holds on, amazing stuff, but the switch back in the offing here for Ash Best, who is bravest, coming up now towards the next chicane, heading up through Eau Rouge, and wheel to wheel they are, but Ash Best has done it. Scintillating stuff indeed, but no, he's not got away just yet. Amazing confidence here from Matthew to try and hold on to the position. Still they remain wheel to wheel. Absolutely phenomenal racing here as they come out through Les Combes yet again here on lap 3 of 20, or lap 2 of 22. Still wheel to wheel, tight to line here. This time for Ash Best. Oh, he loses the car slightly, and that's cost him. Matthew up into P7. An exceptional piece of driving. They just couldn't stay together for that longer period, and he eventually lost it heading round Bruxelles. Incredible scene, Sam.
I think it really matters for the entire first sector battling side by side. That was very impressive driving from the both of them. It's unfortunate what happened to Ash Best in the end, but he's still standing strong there in 8th place. He's got away from Jury behind. I don't know if Jury smacked into the back of him or not, because there was a little bit of a wheel spin out of Bruxelles as well, which may have caught Jury out, but he's fallen back a little bit. But I'm not sure if there's any damage right now. But at the top, it seems to be stabilizing a little bit between all of them. But that was just brilliant battling. And, you know, as we promised, some already good action early on.
Yeah, I don't know what you call stabilising, Sam. I've got to say, we're seeing Messina Rakeen giving all kinds of unstabilised action to Jury right now. A lock-up there as they come up through and very nearly lost it and very nearly compromising the wing of Pat. On the outset, we're seeing Rudy also come into play as they head down the stretch out of bus stop. Now heading down towards La Source yet again. Incredible action here already here at Belgium, as we're already witnessing now Pat really starting to head honch now on Messina Rakeen. Legend also coming to join the fun as they make their way through. Cornet trying to gamble up on Cohen here, and might get a chance heading up through the Kemmel Straight. They will open up the DRS. If he can get the slipstream, he might be able to get a move here heading into Les Combes, but nothing in the offing as they come up now through that chicane section. In mind as well, it's all pretty well strung out now. It's all a question of who can keep it on the track, and it's all about judging track limits to their best potential as Balliner lands a 3-second time penalty. The first man to land a penalty of this sort here on the circuit here today. That's going to be a huge blow in the context of today's race, certainly from his perspective, but already midnight clear by 1.5 seconds. That is absolutely crucial, isn't it, Sam?
Yeah, very, very crucial. And for Balliner, that's not what he would have wanted early on. And a bit of a commentator's curse, because you said about penalties just before he got it. So that's the one to add to the list, I must say. But he's also in a bit of trouble right now, because if Young Power gets close enough, he'll have the DRS and Balliner will not, which means obviously Young Power will take every opportunity to strike and get by now. So Young Power will be looking to close in on Balliner and get by him quickly, because Cohen, he's not going to go away. It may look like he's quite close to being outside that DRS, and he may even be out of it soon, but he won't be going away, Cohen won't. He'll be coming forward, but he's got his own issues to worry about. He's got the 2 McLarens behind him.
And you can guarantee they're going to be working together, Sam. Just look at them, Lars Kramer and Cornet together. And surely they can increase their own prospects here today. Currently McLaren in P9 in the Constructors' standings. If they can get a positive result here, that would be absolutely massive in terms of what their Constructors' legacy is going to be this season as they come down now, heading through the stretch now towards what will be Eau Rouge up through Radion. And Cohen still holding on for the time being, but that DRS is going to come active now for Cornet, and he does get closer into the slipstream here of that Mercedes, but Cohen with enough straight line speed in order to hang on to that P4, at least for the time being. They now rise through Les Combes. We have this very special onboard camera of Cornet rising his way through the chicanes, getting closer and closer to the back of Cohen, whose life is about to be made very uncomfortable indeed by this McLaren. Cornet carrying a real serious amount of speed here, heading through Bruxelles now through corner, with no name corner, and certainly with the way things are dragged out right now, Lars Kramer being brought right into this fight as they make their way around Pouon, hugging the earth a little bit there, Cohen. That's going to cost him a little bit of time now, heading up through what will be Campus very, very shortly, this next series of chicanes. And I have to say, he's really testing this Mercedes. I have to say, Cohen may be a little bit nervous behind the wheel.
Yeah, most certainly, but You say that, but Cohen's closing up to Young Power, Cornet, and Cornet is getting much closer on this straight right now, down towards, of course, the bus stop chicane. And I'm interested to see, I believe it was Cornet in Bahrain who was braking really late into corners, and whether this is just his style, the way he drives. So he really focuses on entry other than exit, but we're now going to be closing in now, but Cohen still probably quite likely to stay ahead just because he's keeping in that DRS of Young Power ahead of him.
Absolutely. Well, they're now rising up once again here in lap 5 this time of this Belgian Grand Prix, up through Eau Rouge and now through Radion again. And still in tandem at this moment, Cornet and Cohen. But this time, it looks like Cornet might be getting a little closer. I think it's about the same as last lap, but they're all pretty tight, which is great to see, and certainly a testament to the qualities of the drivers we have here. Certainly at World Online Racing, and certainly the PS4 tier kicking off for the very first time here at this league. And it's phenomenal to see how successful it's already been received. We've had some exceptional races this season, and certainly the championship tussle between Midnight and Ballina has been really thrilling. But don't forget the others. Meteo and Name Changer, of course, also known as Messina Rakeen, has been absolutely thrilling, and we've seen so much action. We've already seen an incredible start to this race. Ballina now struggling to at least contain Midnight at all. He's 2.2 seconds behind. That's without the penalties received. Young Power still hot on his tail, and in behind Cohen as well, in behind these, dragging along these two McLarens, and Cornet still very much plugged into the rear of it. I have to say, it's absolutely outstanding, and this is exactly what we want to see every Friday on this PS4 platform, and it's absolutely brilliant. I hope you guys are all enjoying it here at home. Please obviously leave your comments in the chat, and myself and Sam will obviously take you through the rest of this race. Certainly lap 5 of 22, a long way to go here. Still no pit stops accrued, apart from, of course, TTG Benny serving that time penalty after that start infringement, as we now see already. Diving into the pit lane is Cohen, and it was lucky he did, because Cornet very much winding on his rear.
Yeah, definitely trying to break that now, and he's trying to get the undercut to work. So watch out for Cohen, as he could actually end up being in second with this undercut. It's an extreme undercut, I have to say. Lap 6, you'd expect them to come in around lap 7, lap 8 time. So an extreme undercut from Cohen, and he'll have to really save his tyres if he wants to get to the end. Ash Best, he did look like he was looking for a move potentially of Matthew at the start of this lap, but it looks like that seems to have gone away for now. But still a long way to go, and Young Power is just going to be closing in on Ballina. I wonder now who is going to actually react to Cohen as he's now pitted. Well, I suspect one of the two McLarens will. Well,
Shazoo Midnight could. He's currently on top spot. He's got a good deficit in front of Ballina. He might want to stay out and effectively pull off a mighty undercut himself, depending on what they do. Certainly when it comes to boxing, you can imagine that this can really have an effect on your tyres, certainly this track, given the fact that these corners are so sharp on the odd occasion. Heading through the middle sector, you have got the likes of Campus into Stavolo, and then of course into Paul Frere as well, and that's where it gets really tricky. Brachel's there as well, certainly a heavy braking zone. That can obviously lend itself to some real flat spots on those tyres, and that's certainly not what you want when it comes to certainly nursing your car around a track such as this. It's not ideal at all, but when you're in the midst of a real battle, as we're now seeing the two McLarens coming together this time, Lars Kramer getting closer and closer to his teammate Corny, but you can imagine they don't want to try any amateur dramatics, as now they're boxing once again. This time Ballina does follow, and Midnight certainly does pit, and Matthew falling in behind. Oh, by me indeed, an incredible string of events as Lars Kramer goes into the rear of Young Power, and that does damage his front wing, and that's going to make him stop even longer in this pit stop.
Yeah, I think it was Ballina who was quite slow into the pits, and it was Young Power. It's like a domino effect, really. Young Power went into the back of him. I don't think Young Power, fortunately for him, I don't think he picked up damage on that wing, and he has got out quite quickly, so that does confirm that. But yeah, very unfortunate for Lars Kramer there. He was really in a hunt for a good position, and now he's behind Messina Rakeen by quite some distance. And
Well, look at this. Look at this now. We're just seeing Midnight now come past Borel on his fresh medium tyres. And look at the difference there already. Borel unable to stop the force. That is Shazoo Midnight. I just want to say and interject. We lost Legend as well. We had yellow flags in Sector 3. IFR Legend in the racing point out of the race. So that means that Jory is now the sole racing point left on track. But Midnight doing the business already. Looking confident on those medium tyres. And you'd fully expect him to retake the lead in the race. A very well-measured performance, certainly when it comes to the strategy. The race is Midnight's to lose right now, but needs to make sure that he can maintain this pace.
Yeah, and not only that, look who's behind him in net P2. It's his teammate. And although he's picked up a penalty, has Cohen, he'll be very happy to get out ahead of Balliner, because Balliner's got a penalty as well. Young Power also has a penalty, so right now Cohen is just still in second place. At the moment, when it comes to all the front runners making their pit stops, so that undercut worked absolutely perfect for the Mercedes, but those tyres, well, towards the end, they could be a little bit concerning. So watch out for Cohen, but my prediction, which was Midnight, Balliner, Cohen, that could be a likely thing at the moment.
Well, certainly in other leagues, I obviously commentate on the likes of Jana Watmir and Danny Moreno, and we've witnessed several Mercedes outstanding strategies from those two, and once again we could be seeing another masterclass. Cohen, of course, managing to cultivate himself into a net P2 position, but look at Balliner. Balliner's going hunting right now, looking to grab him. Certainly at this point in time, we've got a battle between Rudy and Simon as well, and Simon's managed to dispatch the Williams, but looking further back, Balliner trying to tag back this time on the Mercedes of Cohen. And this offers a little bit of a headache for Cohen. He's got to put his best defensive helmet on this time as they come up through Lake Com, and that Alfa Romeo is looking really, really dangerous. And as they do so, rising up through the series of bends, Cornet as well in behind for the McLaren team. In behind him, Young Power, who has actually lost position due to, of course, that front wing damage he sustained earlier on, heading into the pit. And now Cornet's managed to get ahead of him. That's a huge coup for the McLaren team, as now Cohen makes his way down through Pouon, and certainly Balliner in hot pursuit, trying to garner any possible advantage this time on the black arrow of the Mercedes. But certainly Midnight, a distant memory now, has marched out a 4-second gap ahead of his teammate Cohen. That's extraordinary pace, and Midnight is definitely on a flyer, Sam.
Yeah, and not only that, he doesn't have a penalty either, so he's got that security over Cohen and Balliner. Cornet at the moment, he's made the overcut work here. Which is brilliant to see. He's got past Young Power, so I don't know if Young Power has been caught in the pit somewhat or something, but Cornet has definitely made his strategy work, and not only that, he has a lot more tyre security than the two ahead of him, so expect to see him in this battle, and he's already on the back of Balliner right now. Like I said, he likes to brake late, and it's definitely working out well at this track. But Young Power, he's not giving up on it too soon. He's got the fastest lap of this race right now, but it's still a Mercedes 1-2, but for how long is the question.
Yeah, I got to say, Balliner looking very dangerous right now, but he's got his own problems. That McLaren is not going away. Cornet right in this fight, and Cornet doing the right thing here, because of course he has yet to get a penalty. All he needs to do is sit behind and watch all the chaos unfold as Balliner now moves up alongside Cohen. It's a ding-dong battle, but it's so straightforward. It's the Alfa Romeo bursting through before Lake Com. Exceptional stuff by Balliner, and showing the star quality that we've seen all season with decent overtakes such as this. And now he needs to utilize his speed now to try and close the gap on Midnight, because he knows he's got to gamble, because of course Midnight could still yet make a mistake. We're only on lap 9 of 22, but Balliner making the crucial moves as they count, and now Cornet can now try and sink his teeth to the other Mercedes now. Cohen is now his to deal with. Balliner, an excellent move heading up through the long straight at Kemmel.
Yeah, nice and easy for Balliner. Cohen didn't even retaliate. He knew that Balliner was coming and it was going to eventually take the place. He's now got the trouble of Cornet behind him. I do want to mention Ashbest as well. Right now, he is in 11th place, but once all these guys pit, he will possibly be in 5th place. So he's moved up the grid kind of well. He's got Matthew behind him, but he also doesn't have a penalty, does Ashbest. So potentially, there could be a podium on the cards if he can catch up to this big group of cars ahead of him in a big train. But Balliner looks to be trying to clear Cohen at the moment, and Cohen will need to be careful from Cornet behind him. But Midnight running his own race at the moment. He seemed to have been slower the last lap, but I don't think he needed to bother to really pace at the moment.
Oh, blimey! Here comes Young Power, a phenomenal dive through La Source, and he isn't half stirring up the Source this time. Well, absolutely exceptional move. Indeed, heading in, a leg break, heading into La Source. Absolutely fantastic. And Cornet now looking to tag back. More wheel-to-wheel action, retaliation here from the McLaren as they come out through Kemmel yet again. The Haas in jeopardy. It was a long shot, but it was a great move. And now the Haas holds on to that P9, and you can tell that Cornet probably is not happy with that whatsoever. Young Power stirring the pot, landing P9 in devastating fashion. What an exceptional performance from that man Young Power in the Haas.
Yeah, we cannot get a moment of action, can we? Of being quiet at the moment. Young Power then making that splendid move down the inside. Very last minute. I wasn't even expecting a move through there because, of course, they're all in a DRS train. So Young Power there, really impressive to get up the field, and it looks like he's desperate. It looks like he's wanting to get past these cars quickly because he knows he could dispatch them. But I was talking about Ashbest. What he needs to do right now is catch up to this train, which seems to be providing us with a lot of battling. But Cohen seeming to be struggling a little bit to keep up with Ballina right now. He's got Young Power really to defend from at the moment, and if Cohen loses that DRS, well, if Young Power displayed that overtaking eliteness on Cornet, then obviously expect to see more of that on Cohen potentially soon.
Yeah, he could well do, and Cornet might not relent in doing a similar move to what Young Power did to him just now. And look at the speed that Cornet managed to get coming out of bus stop. Is he going to have a look? He does have a look. I gotta say, very, very, I suppose it's eye for an eye when it comes to racing. Sometimes a little nudge in the back there just to show him he's there from Cornet. And certainly these drivers do not mind tapping the ankles of their co-conspirators here on track. It's amazing to watch this racing here at Belgium. And certainly nonetheless, it's been very much action-packed. Young Power looking a little unstable coming out of that semi-chicane of Eau Rouge, heading up through that top flight through Kemmel now, heading towards Les Combes. And leading at the top end of this contingent of cars is still Ballina, leading them round in net P2. Remember, the top 5 still yet to box. They're on 10-lap-old medium tyres as they come now towards Bruxelles. So we've got a yellow flag in Sector 2. Simon out of the race. Now, what can this mean? Surely it is a VSC. And look at it, he's binned it, heading out into No Name Corner. And that is a dangerous spot. I'm actually surprised it's not a conventional safety car.
Yeah. Unfortunate for Simon, really. I haven't really seen what happened to him, but that is a corner where you can lose the rear if you're not careful. And I was just laughing a little bit there. Not at Simon, but Midnight. He's got a little bit of troubles at the moment with CC Brain ahead of him. And CC Brain not really having the best of internet days, it looks like today. And Midnight had to really slam on the brakes out the end of Les Combes because obviously the fear of hitting him. But he didn't hit him, obviously, because CC Brain had the issues that he had with the internet. It seems to have fixed itself now, but that has lost Midnight some valuable time. So Ballina closing in, but obviously it's definitely not enough to really warrant anything other than a few tenths.
No, absolutely. But we'll have to wait and see how this all unfolds, of course. Still plenty of action here to be had at this race here at Spa. CC Brain now in the pit lane. And about to get those mediums off finally. He'll be swapping onto the softs now very, very shortly. Certainly does. And be interesting to see where he comes out. Of course, Pat and Cookie Games and Rudy also still yet to box. But here you can see this contingent of cars now winding their way through once again. Mathieu gaining on Ashbest this time. The other Alfa Romeo in jeopardy now as the Renault. This looks all too easy again. And this is the straight line speed you can get at Kemmel. And smoothly does it indeed. Mathieu absolutely brilliant in the Renault. And of course, he's been that consistent performer all season long and now needs his best of him now to try and get his way into as high a points paying position as possible. Remember, he's still yet to grab a podium, but certainly a man of his talent should never be too far off a podium spot.
Yeah, Matthew up to 9th place at the moment. Of course, 3 drivers yet to pit, so could be a possibility. The only thing hindering it is that penalty that he's got that Cornet and Ashbest don't have, which they could benefit from of the drivers ahead. But at the moment, Midnight looking to capitalise on what happened earlier with CC Brain, and he seems to be capitalising quite well. He's made about 3 attempts from that issue, since that issue, And Cohen seems to be stabilizing out a little bit. It looked like he would drop out of DRS of Ballina, but maybe have a mistake for Ballina, or a little slow at the VSC. It's kind of left Cohen to catch up a little bit, but let's not forget about this battle just behind them. Cornet at Young Power. We've already seen one sensational move from Young Power. Are we going to see another one from Cornet this time?
Yeah, but just look how late they're breaking in the bus stop. It's nose-to-tail action here, and you can just see Cornet trying to get an improved bit of movement out of the end of bus stop, and that's certainly what he's trying to do. Needs the speed out of the corner in order to utilize the DRS down the straight, but he might get a chance here as they make their way up through towards Eau Rouge. Just look at them now, nose to tail, nothing much separates them. The gap is thinner than a fly's eyelash as they come out of Eau Rouge now, heading up through the Kemmel Straight very shortly. Young Power, who's very much in the midst here, but look at this as well. You can see Cohen really starting to move up here on potentially Ballina, but no move in the offing. But look at Cornet right on the rear there of Young Power, and certainly leaving the Haas in a very, very, well, certainly a very tough position, because of course he's got to think about defending it while he's thinking about trying to gain on Cohen. A lock-up from Cohen as well in front there. Just goes to show how hard these guys are pushing here at Spa. Young Power round no-name corner. In hot pursuit is Cornet. Don't take your eyes away from this one, folks, because it has been absolutely breathtaking. They're heading around Pouhon now. Young Power still in P5. Within behind you, have got the McLaren here of Cornet as they wind their way through Stabilo very, very shortly. Oh, a little mistake there from Cornet, and that's going to cost him a little bit of time and all that momentum. Young Power a little bit tail happy as well. You get to think that maybe these medium tyres are taking a real bit battering here around this circuit, but as they make their way now towards Blanchimont, there might be a chance here for one of these guys heading down towards bus stop. Certainly, if you can get straight line speed and get in the slipstream, it can certainly benefit you. But look at the ERS levels on Corney's car. They're very near slim to none as they come through the bus stop now. Once again, he'll be relying on that straight line speed as they come on the outset of the bus stop chicane. Pat now in the pits. Midnight takes lead of the race. Ballina shortly will go up to P2 on track, followed by Cohen and Young Power and Cornet. And these are the way the cars are strung out. It's an exceptional race here, Sam.
Yeah, not only that, all their ERSs seem to be quite poor at the moment. The only one is that is the exception to that would be Cohen, who's in third place right now, and he is in the best position to potentially overtake here. He's got the exit from well, he hasn't used his DRS there. He's not even opened his wing. I don't know why he's not doing that. Whether he doesn't want to attack Ballina for some reason, I do not know, but he didn't open his wing. He remains in third place, but yeah, rather anticlimactic, I say, from Cohen now. I would have thought he would have taken a bit of a go at Ballina there.
Well, it's a great display of confidence as CC Brain now overtakes Burrell now for P14, but we can't take our eyes off this battle for P2. But look at this now, Cohen, who's still right on the tail of Ballina. Remember, he will still hold on to DRS, and given that he's within a second of the man in P2, and this is the way the train will be until surely the end of this Grand Prix, as long as they're able to keep it on track. And all this is allowing, of course, Mathieu to join the party. You can see there the Renault getting closer and closer to the back of Corney because they're all strung out in a line. Mathieu getting a nice tow. Ash Best is being brought into the fray as well. TTG Benny with a phenomenal drive, considering, of course, that he had the drive-through penalty earlier on. But bear in mind, he has got 13 laps amassed on that compounded tyre, so he will need to stop for a set of softs. In behind, Lars Kramer as well in the midst. Cookie Gaines trying to rise up through as well. As they're watching here, a very late break again from Young Power, who I have to say, they're really flinging it into the bus stop chicane now. Down through towards turn one yet again, and Ballina leading this contingent around. Midnight, a forgotten memory. He is 4.5 seconds ahead of Ballina, and Ballina's just focusing on keeping this group of cars in behind, but surely Cohen might get a chance here. He might open up his DRS and land a blow here on Ballina now before it's too late. Cornet's going to be thinking of exactly the same thing on Young Power, because if he remains in P5, it's not going to be good enough for a podium. Look at this from Cohen, getting closer and closer with the DRS open. Into Lakecom, the Mercedes goes. It's a 1-2 for now. Mercedes P1 with Midnight. Cohen makes it 2. Sensational stuff on the outset of Lakecom, and he will now take P2 with Ballina at the mercy of Young Power.
Yeah, and now Cohen is going to try and get away now. We thought Cohen was actually probably going to lose that DRS to Ballina earlier on in this race, but Ballina's pace seems to have gone a little bit down south, so Cohen has been able to really elaborate on that and really take his time and make his move, and look at him, he's almost clear already. He's almost a second clear of Ballina behind. So Ballina really starting to struggle perhaps with the tyre temps or the tyre deg or anything like that. And Young Power perhaps will be licking his lips a little bit for a potential podium in this race. But Cornet, let's not forget about him. All these guys ahead of him have penalties. Cornet does not. This is not over yet off the track when it comes to penalties deciding. But Cornet, even on the track, this isn't even over. So expect to see more action with 7 laps to go. And Cornet is going to try and possibly get past Young Power, or at least keep with him to get that podium that he probably deserves at this point. He's had a bit of a cracking race, I have to say.
Yeah, well, Cornet, if things stay the way they are, he will jump into P3 at least, given the fact that, of course, he does have no penalties. Obviously, that's based on the fact that those in P2, 3 and 4 all have 3 seconds of penalties. Anything more than that, of course, will condemn them at least anyway. But still, nonetheless, amazing stuff here indeed from Cohen, doing his utmost to get into P2, utilising, and he's outside the second mark. Now, that's crucial, as we're now seeing Ballina. Young Power got him heading up through a Rouge. We didn't see that coming whatsoever, and there must have been an issue there on Ballina's front. And now, he's going to be at the mercy of a very quick Cornet. Young Power, phenomenal drive indeed. That came out of absolutely nowhere here in lap 16 of 22. And Ballina really struggling here at Spa. He is dropping down the order. P4 remains. And Cornet, who's looking relentless, I'm sure will not mind taking a chunk out of this Alfa Romeo. It would be a mega statement indeed.
Yeah, things seem to be going a little bit wrong for Ballina now. He's losing a lot of time and losing a lot of momentum, I have to say, when it comes to the leaders right now. And now that he's dropped down to 4th place, he'll be a bit of an unhappy man right now in that Alfa Romeo seat at the moment. He's got Cornet behind him, who has looked quite aggressive recently, so he'll be looking to potentially make an overtake soon, because if it goes the way it is, Ballina's just going to keep losing time, which, if that's the case, that'll lose Cornet time and potentially lose him a potential spot on the podium. So Cornet will be looking quick now to get past Ballina, but Ballina, he's already dropped out almost of a second again to Young Power, so things really not going well with that Alfa Romeo. Maybe, possibly, he hasn't really done it well on the fuel, and he's now got to start saving a little bit. Who knows? But at the moment, he's not really happy in that Alfa Romeo compared to the cars around them.
Yeah, I don't think Young Power's done either, Sam, because he's getting closer and closer to Cohen. So it might be the case that the Haas might be able to get a bonus prize here, the way things are going out on track. But don't forget, Cornet still in the midst. Pat now making an overtake on Lars Kramer, who's still very much in the fray for a potential overtake back here on the Haas car, as now we witness them go nose to tail once again. He will have DRS here on the Haas car. We'll get it done before Lecom, the way things are situated right now. Pat takes the inside line, looking to defend here into the chicane as they go wheel to wheel, and certainly brilliant there from Lars Kramer in the McLaren as well. Surges his way up into P9 on the medium tyres. He's amassed 9 laps onto those, but vitally both of them have penalties. Cookie Games up into P8, a great recovery drive to say the least, very much in the looking for points. But remember, he started from the back of the grid, so what an exceptional drive. And now he's in the podium fight, because bear in mind, he's on quick soft tyres. This could be a mega race from Cookie Games. Could he be the dark horse in this race?
Who knows? He's catching up to Ashbest ahead of him at the moment. He will definitely need to close a little bit more to get in that DRS, but it's now a massive train between all these guys, so overtaking is going to be more difficult than ever for these guys. We say that, but Young Power done it, Cohen's done it, Cornet's done it, they've all done it, so they know how to overtake. But this train has now really put Cookie Games, Ashbest and Cornet in the fight for the podium position, so those three are going to be going at it to potentially steal what could be a really big podium for all three of them. Yeah,
and VRT Pat now retaking. We got a fascinating encounter here between Pat and Lars Kramer, and once again they're wheel to wheel. They've overtaken each other once each here, and well, should I say, Pat's done it twice to Lars Kramer, but Lars Kramer not done yet. A lock up there from VRT Pat heading up through La Source, and as they do so, Pat managing to get a better exit out of La Source. We will hold on to that P9 for now, but crucially, look at this from Ash Best getting closer to Mathieu. Cookie Games Teams coming to join the fray as well as they ride up now through the Kemmel Straight. Opportunities in abundance across this circuit as they now wind their way up through towards Lake Com. Just look at this. Young Power getting closer and closer. Lars Kramer back in front of VRT. Pat, what an exchange between these two. Landing blow for blow. It's like watching Mike Tyson and Holyfield. Watching these two out on track. VRT Pat looking to go for it again. Round the outside through Bruxelles. Might get a chance here. On the outset, still wheel to wheel. Heading towards No Name Corner. Can he get it done? He's going to squeeze it. He does. Still wheel to wheel. But this time, Pat takes it. Exceptional stuff here. What a race here at Spa.
On the outside at Bruxelles as well. Such an unconventional corner to make an overtake, but not only that, round the outside as well on Lars Kramer. That is one for the photo gallery or the video gallery, whatever you want to call it. And Lars seems to be probably struggling a little bit. You do have to realise that Pat is on those fresh softs, well, 3 laps fresh, really. Soft tyres compared to the 10-lap old medium, so expect Pat to be better on the tyres, but because of the DRS here, Lars is keeping afloat, but we'll have to wait and see. There's another lap of this action to come, but everyone above, Cohen is getting closer now for Young Power. I expect him to potentially make the move now on this lap. Breaks way later than the Mercedes, and those Mercedes tyres as well aren't exactly getting much better, since obviously he pitted the earliest, did Cohen.
Yeah, and obviously now Young Power will get a chance here once again. He's rising, he's coming. The Haas, relentless as they come up now through the Kemmel Straight. Chance here now for Young Power to unleash the power now. Heading up through Lake Com. Is he going to hold off? He is. I know what his plan is. He's going to leave it to the last lap of the race. Every chance here from Young Power. He's looking good. And I have to say, Ash Best now moving ahead. He's battling with Mathieu as we now watch them heading through Bruxelles. Incredible stuff indeed. Wheel to wheel action, holding on Ash Best here at the moment. Mathieu not able to land the crucial blow back on the Alfa Romeo, but he moves up into P6. Both Alphas in the top 6, Sam.
Yeah, brilliant from Ash Best, I have to say. Rounding outside from Lake Com for the middle part of it, there, I think for the first corner, Mathieu may have had a little bit struggle at the rear end, which opened the opportunity to Ash Best, and he just went balls. He went straight round the outside. Oh, I think it was turn 8 or 9. I'm not entirely sure which corner is that one, the second corner through Lake Com, and then on the exit he was clear of Mathieu. So nice and easy from Ash Best, but brilliant commitment there to go through the corner. And again, these drivers showing that they are very confident when they make the moves, and Ash Best there showing again with all of his experience, he is not afraid to make crucial moves in this race, and that moves him up to, I have to say, a really crucial position now.
Yeah, and this is where things get interesting. They're going to be now commencing the next lap here in this absolutely phenomenal race. Midnight still owning that top spot, at least for now. But look at this. Still all strung out here across the track. Cohen in P2. Young Power in P3. Bellina in P4. They're just winding up through a Rouge once again. And just look at this. I have to say, the contingent of cars, it never stops being breathtaking. Cohen now trying to light up the boards here. Trying to at least supersede all his challenges for his P2 spot. Mercedes want to try and maintain this P1 and 2 position. Look at this though. Cornet getting closer to Bellina all the time here as he now rides through the next right-hander, heading down towards Bruxelles now once again. Still all of them up in the top 10, all close in tandem. It certainly will mean a feast of a final couple of laps here in this Belgian Grand Prix. VRT Young Power in the midst as well. Cohen, no, holding on at least for now. But just look at the trail of cars, Sam. Absolutely extraordinary here at Spa.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it before, but Cookie Games at the back of this train, but on those soft tyres, he is going to have a few more laps to try and catch up to Mathieu, but he's closed right in on this train, and I don't think the battling between Mathieu and Ash Best has really helped them when they've got that Ferrari dancing behind them, looking to potentially make some moves, but it will take a lot now for him to really close in a lot here. Ballina, though, he's almost out of the ERS. He's trying to defend as much as he can on Cornet, but Cornet, he's got a lot to do this lap, and potentially he's going to take his strike and get right behind Young Power and Cohen as well, keeping Young Power out. But I wonder if Young Power has just been saving for a little while for this moment as he looks to close in on the Mercedes.
He certainly is. You can imagine that Cohen is using up all of his as well, and Young Power wants to time it to absolute perfection. We're on the penultimate lap here of the Belgian Grand Prix. One more lap after this one, and it will all be over. But right now, it looks academic. Midnight owning top spot without any penalties. 4.5 seconds the difference between him and Cohen right now. And Cohen, as we look further down, Cornet finally passes Bellina into P4, and Bellina now in front of his teammate Ash Best, Alfa Romeo, humbled here by the McLaren as they come through lane calm. And I have to say, Cornet, with an exceptional drive, has every chance of nicking the P2 spot the way things are strung out right now. Only a second separates him and Cohen right now, so a great chance for the McLaren to steal the thunder of the Mercedes dream here today. And I have to say, it's looking very much in his favour, Sam.
Yeah, and I wonder if tactics will be played a little bit for the Alfa Romeo team, because the last thing Ash would want is to be held up from Bellina, because of course he's on for a podium as well. It's Ash Best at the moment with 3 drivers around them with 3 seconds of penalties. If Ballina holds up Ash Best, he may have cost his team crucial points in the Constructors' Championship, especially considering it's going to be at least a Mercedes 1-3 today at the moment. But of course, Young Power has one more opportunity, and it will be coming his way this lap. And well, I expect him to definitely take it. He's closing in on that Mercedes. He's lurking very, very quickly onto the back of that Mercedes.
He said he is. Cohen locked up there heading into bus stop, and that surely just goes to show the pressure that he's under. And look at this, Young Power getting closer and closer, and very, very shortly I'm sure he'll unleash the power as he heads through the La Source bend now on the outset. You can see that the string of cars in amongst these, in behind Cornet as well, in behind him Ballina and Ash Best, all made up in amongst these drivers. Cohen though very close to the nose cone of this incredible Haas car that's been driven exceptionally. And look at the momentum brought out by Young Power. Gets the move done even before they even brush at Laycom. Absolutely exceptional scenes here as Ballina lets Ash Best through. You were absolutely right, Sam. The crucial move in this race, team orders at Alfa Romeo. They're going to try and upset the Mercedes party here today. They might only have one car on the podium at the end of this race, and it might be Midnight.
Yeah, and Midnight, he's just dominated, hasn't he? We haven't seen anything from Midnight in this race, and well, he's just flown away from it. And what a statement it is for him, honestly. That's all he would have needed today. Obviously he would have wanted to beat Ballina. He's absolutely slaughtered him, I have to say. And obviously that's not really bad for Ballina. He's had a good race, no doubt about that. He's fallen behind quite a bit, but for Midnight, this is a statement. He wants to get back in this championship hunt, and you know what, he's stated it very, very well indeed.
He has indeed. He's now coming around Blanchimont for the last time here now very shortly. It's been an impressive drive. This man, Midnight, who is sat second best on several occasions to Ballina. He won the first race of the championship at Bahrain. He returns here to Spa for the first time in 3 races. Picks up the win at Spa. He wins the Belgian Grand Prix. And he does it in exceptional fashion. Young Power will drop down the field due to penalties. Cornet takes P2 with Ash Best on the podium as well. Absolutely sensational scenes here in WOR here for this incredible Belgian Grand Prix. And just look at that, Cookie Games driver of the day without question, P4 after starting at the back of the grid, Sam.
Yeah, we didn't see any overtakes from Cookie Games. I wonder if he's just played a very, very smart game, and that just seems like it's the case. And I am questioning whether he pitted under the virtual safety car when we had that at a point. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I mean, let's not deny it, really. It's been an incredible performance from Cookie Games, and not only that, you know, all these drivers around them, Cohen, Young Power, Ballina, they were all penalised, and Cookie Games was there to pick up the pieces, and he got P4. And as you said, George, easy driver of the day, and despite he didn't have as much action as some of the others, it was a brilliant performance, consistent, and he got it to the line nice and cleanly. So yeah, driver of the day, easy pick for Cookie Games.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you look at the podium, many of them may not necessarily been involved in an overtaking sense. The likes of Cornet, who was pressuring the midfield constantly, but crucially kept penalty free, and that is the trick around a track like Spa. Ash Best doing the exact same thing, and I have to say, and even the game confirms with me, driver of the day goes to Cookie Games as well. An exceptional drive and very deserved of that P4 finish. And I hope you all enjoyed that at home. It was absolutely brilliant to call this action for you. Never do you get a dull race at Spa. It is absolutely brilliant. And that man Midnight is going to celebrate all day long with a grandiose victory at certainly one of the more traditional circuits in Formula One, that of being Spa-Francorchamps, the scenes of many phenomenal races in the past. Of course, it's gone down in history as one of the greatest circuits in the world, and certainly without a shadow of a doubt, that man will be celebrating. Midnight takes top spot for the second time this season, stops Ballina's 3-race streak turning into a 4-race streak, and he's going to be absolutely thrilled, I'm sure. Hopefully we'll get a chance to speak to him later on after we confirm the results. But there you go, P1 goes to Midnight there for the Mercedes team, and that will again add to their constructor standings hopes. Crucially, of course, Alfa Romeo allowed back in thanks to Ash Best, but we'll go through the order now. Corday in P2 with an exceptional drive after starting P4. Ash Best in P8, landing a P3. Cookie Games, driver of the day without question, started from the back of the grid, managed to get a P4 finish. Absolutely amazing scenes. Cohen still striking some points there for Mercedes, P5. Young Power in P6 after exquisite drives. It's a shame that penalties got to him there. Ballina, his 3-race winning streak comes to an end at 4. He does not manage to get it on this occasion. P7. Mathieu in P8. Pat in P9. Lars Kramer P10. He's the last of the points runners. Rudy there in P11. Dino P12. Benny there is behind him as well. We didn't get to see the rest, but folks, what an incredible race. Absolutely brilliant. I tell you what, if we haven't learned to subscribe for that one, I don't know what we're going to do for you. I have to say, brilliant stuff though, Sam. And it just goes to show, it never ceases to amaze us, does it?
No, it doesn't. And, well, these two drivers at the top of their game, Ballina and Midnight, trading victories. And the gap for points now is down to 15 again. So, Ballina, although he could have still been a race clear today if he got everything right, but things in the end just didn't go right for the Dutch driver. And it's kind of left that gap to go right back down. And Midnight, although Britain was not the race he would have wanted in the end, it is most certainly something that he'll be loving right now. And he's back within 15 points now. So it's very close now, this championship between those two. And they're both proven why they're the top talents. But again, what a good display again from Young Power, although not the podium, nothing like that. It was a very good display from the Haas driver, I have to say as well.
It was indeed, and we are going to have some interviews, folks, and we are actually joined by one of them already, so we'll start with this man, seeing as he's already here. Ash Best, incredible to have you back in the commentary box. Obviously, it's been very rarely that we've spoken. Generally, we're speaking to your teammate, but you must be absolutely thrilled after that performance at Spa here today.
Yeah, very, very fun race, and really happy with the P3. It was very difficult to make the way up through the field because of the DRS train, but we managed and penalties helped, but P3 in the end was great.
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible race, and certainly that battle between P's 2 all the way down, eventually it got down to around P's 10, I believe, was absolutely incredible. Did you ever expect to jump on the podium? Because certainly the penalties allowed you to jump into the race, or was it just you were aware of what was going on ahead? And we did notice Ballina let you by towards the end of that race, and was it a case that team orders came into effect as well?
I mean, I think Balliner knew that he was out of VRS. I was charging through the field. My tires were in much better condition. I was overall much quicker at the latter stages of the race, so he let me pass fairly easily. Didn't make me do any, well, he didn't make me do much work. I knew I was getting P4 at the end because I could see on my Delta that Cohen had a penalty. I didn't know Young Power had a penalty, so getting into third after crossing the line was actually a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah, well, I have to say, it's certainly done you certainly favours in terms of your own performance. That, of course, is it's the result you've probably wanted in a long time. First time you've touched the podium since Bahrain. So obviously, is this a trend that you're looking to maintain?
Hopefully. I mean, the grid is very competitive, and my qualifying needs a lot of work on. However, this race was really good, and it showed my race pace being very, very nice, especially at the end, which I've been working on. So improvements are being made, and hopefully I'll be up here more than just these two times.
Well, we certainly hope to see you there indeed. Obviously, the points you managed to accrue was obviously very useful due to Balliner obviously losing touch a little bit. Obviously, you managed to make that crucial overtake. You, of course, landed yourself with a very valuable 15 points. Obviously, still Alfa Romeo at the top of the championship. You're pretty much clear at this moment in time. Before the race, you were 42 points clear. Of course, Shazoo Midnight's win will bring it closer together. But you must be still feeling confident about getting a positive result come the end of the season.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is a really good result, and we got third and seventh in the end, which isn't too bad in retrospect. And Cohen did have a penalty, which bumped him down a bit. So overall, it's good. But yeah, Mercedes did cut into us a bit. I'm not too worried at the moment, but you have to keep aware of the gap behind and make sure it doesn't close in too much.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on a return to the podium, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time as well, because we're going to be heading to Italy, the Temple of Speed at Monza. We'll look forward to seeing you there, Ashbest. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Next up, we'll interview the race winner next. Midnight, welcome to the commentary box. I have to say, an exceptional drive to say the least. You look to really set the wheels in motion after qualifying. You were the quickest by a considerable margin. Certainly tenths of a second are worth a fortune in Formula One. You must be delighted with your performance out there today.
Yeah, that pole lap was something magical, really, to say the least. I mean, I was doing the same laps roughly in practice, and obviously you don't really normally do the practice laps in the actual thing, but to do my personal best in the actual thing and stick it on pole, it was something special.
Yeah, I mean,
it really was.
Mercedes is going to be delighted to see that because, of course, I, as you know, commentate the likes of Jarno Opmeer and Danny Moreno. And we've seen Mercedes lockouts on many an occasion. Yourself and Cohen looked almost to give the same approach in that race as well. It looked very much like it was going to be a Mercedes lockout again. Nevertheless, you scooped up maximum points yourself in terms of race wins. Obviously, very useful in terms of the championship. Your first visit to the podium since Bahrain. You must be delighted with that.
Yeah, I'm just hoping I can keep the consistency up. Last race at Britain had a stinker, fair to say. So I'm just hoping it's consistent points. Just trying to hunt down Balliner, and yeah, just looking for consistency really.
Yeah, well, it certainly looks good at this moment in time. Let's see if you can rack it up again. Obviously, looking at the constructors as well, as I was just saying to Ash Best, that win will obviously bring you closer. Obviously, that's the second win for Mercedes, both of them under your tutelage this season, but scoring some regular points, and it keeps you ahead of Renault at least as well. So it very much looks like it's going to be a fight between Alfa Romeo and Mercedes for the constructors this season. Are you confident heading into the rest of the calendar, especially as we head to the Temple at Speed of Monza?
Yeah. Yeah. Cohen did by the way, I just want to say Cohen did a very good job with his ERS. I mean, he did some stupid stuff, but it worked out. But the penalty was unfortunate for him. But yeah, I mean, Cohen's a great driver as well to have alongside me. So just hoping we can bring the fight against Alfa Romeo. And today we've caught a large haul of points home, and we've caught Alfa Romeo by quite a lot. I don't know how much it is, but we're getting closer there.
Yeah, well, certainly your teammate Cohen will be delighted with that. I know he's watching and listening in the live chat box anyway, to say the least. Obviously, looking ahead to the rest of the calendar, we're into the second half of the season proper now with only 5 races remaining in the championship. Of course, we've got Italy, Japan, Austria, Abu Dhabi and Brazil. All of them very exceptional tracks. Many of them traditional tracks, certainly the likes of Italy, Japan, Austria and Brazil. Some of the more favourites amongst the grid order. What are your thoughts heading into the tail end of the season? Can we see it again, this time from the Mercedes team? Can you win the championship?
I mean, Abu Dhabi, I know is going to be a stinker because I hate Abu Dhabi with a passion. I can say that now. But as long as it's consistent up here, more visits to the commentary box, speaking to you, Sam and Andy, then hopefully it should be looking good, but I can't make any promises right now.
Well, in the meantime, you can enjoy an exceptional victory, and it looked like you had it all under control out there today. I'm sure we'll see it again very, very soon, but congratulations on another tremendous victory, and we'll wish you the very best of luck next time when we head to Italy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Midnight. Thank you. Last but not least, we have the final podium sitter. He managed to garner P2 in the race today. Cornet, welcome to the commentary box.
Yeah, thank you.
How are you? You must be delighted. You were absolutely exceptional in that race. It looked on many an occasion like you were going to make some incredible moves, and you were very there. You were very much there on pace. You must be delighted with the end result.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the pace. Of course, quali, I did a 0.5 for this my PB, I can say. So that's the maximum I could do in qualifying. And yeah, race was amazing. I loved the last lap overtake. I really enjoyed that one, and some good overtaking, and yeah, race pace was really good.
You seem to thrive in these very, very close battles when you've got like a top 10 that are so close to each other. Incidentally, in qualifying, the top 10 were near enough separated by 0.8 of a second, which was absolutely incredible. Just looking at it, you were probing all over the rear end of many a car during that race. Of course, Cohen was one of them. You seem to have barrels of confidence out there. Do you love Spa or something? Is that your track?
No, I think my race pace is better than my quality pace nowadays. So every what was it, Britain? I also I had very good race pace. So yeah, I think my race pace is really good. So yeah.
Well, I've got to say, if we can see more of that, it would be exceptional. And just to talk about your performances this season, obviously, it's great to obviously have you in the commentary box to obviously speak about this. Your performances this season, you already landed a podium last week at Britain when you scooped up a P3. You've landed another podium here today. Is this a constant trend that we can expect?
Well, consistency is the key. So I hope I can get more top fives. That's the goal of the season, to get every session a top 5 for me, so I can prove myself and let people see what I can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's your third podium of the season now. Like I said to the others, we're heading to Monza for the next one. Lots of heavy braking zones there. You seem to be very effective in those heavy braking zones, certainly heading out to the bus stop chicane, certainly. Do you think that will help you in terms of the Italian circuit, where there are two very, very heavy braking chicanes, obviously the Roggia and the Rettifilio at Monza? What are your thoughts heading to that track? Is that a personal favourite as well?
Yeah, I really like Monza, but it's not like my best track, but a decent track for me. But yeah, I don't think heavy braking zones are really positive one of me, where I'm really good at. So we will see.
Well, I've got to say, congratulations on a wonderful podium and an excellent drive, a great clean drive, and we'll look forward to seeing if you can put that heavy braking to the test at Monza next time. Well done, Corney.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Corney. And that's the McLaren Man. And that wraps up the interviews and, of course, our broadcast tonight, folks. I have to say, Sam, just a few comments after that one. Obviously, a very confident Corney. I think his drive was absolutely brilliant. Also, incredible to see the Mercedes power at the top end as well, given the fact that, of course, Midnight has been contesting with a lot of challenges, certainly in the last 3 races, but he's come back with a vengeance this time. Definitely looks like Mercedes are a team on a mission right now, certainly given that Cohen seemed to make an improved performance as well.
Yeah, Cohen most certainly is improving all the time as a driver. He's becoming a lot more confident and definitely becoming a driver that looks to be in contention for podiums and obviously winning championships. He is a good driver, is Cohen. He's not had the best of luck, though, this season in WOR, but I do expect him to come fighting even further. But those are two powerhouse constructors, Mercedes and Alfa Romeo. They're four talented drivers, and obviously everyone else is very talented as well. But those two teams specifically are really becoming the story, and obviously the two drivers of Ballina and Midnight are becoming the drivers' championship story really at the moment. So it is a little bit like it's kind of similar to F1 2021 in real life, Verstappen, Hamilton, Red Bull, Mercedes sort of vibes. So we are in for a really good second half to the season. And like I said at the start of the stream, next 2 tracks, I believe, are 2 tracks that Ballina really likes. And it would be good for him to get back onto top form like he has been before. But again, I'm not too sure about Midnight, but Midnight definitely will be eyeing up some good results, as he did say that Abu Dhabi isn't his greatest track. And if he can retake the lead of the championship after the next couple of rounds, then he'll be feeling quite confident.
Well, if anything, Sam, it just goes to show that the championship fight is very much still on. Just because they had at least a race of separation between the two drivers doesn't mean to say it's over. It's only over, folks, when it's over. And I'd have to say, when we get to the template speed at Monza, they're going to kick it up another notch. Naturally, Midnight will have the fire in his belly after scooping up this win at Spa. Not to mention the other drivers on the track. What about Cornet, who's been on the podium 3 times now this season? Certainly looks like a formidable character. Ash Best getting into the podiums as well. Certainly great for Alfa Romeo. Great news for them. That the fact that both their cars can score very, very good points. And obviously that will lend them into their constructors' hopes as well, given the fact that they are still currently spearheading the top of that table as well. But naturally, Cohen as well. Is that it for Mercedes Power? Could we see some more from Cohen? Because he had every chance of getting a 1-2 here today, folks. It's been a pleasure bringing you today the action here at Spa, of course. Please make sure, as I said before, you leave a like and a subscribe to the WOR YouTube channel. Don't forget as well to check out WOR on Twitter, that of course being at WOR League. And of course you can tweet them and obviously stay up to date with all the latest league news as well. You can also tweet me at George Morgan TV. Please get in touch, leave a follow and show your support as well. It's been a pleasure having you all on board for this one. And also don't forget VSR Sam as well. That's Sam Thompson, my co-commentator. Be sure to give him a tweet as well. I'm sure he won't mind. But folks, it's been a pleasure having you here. It was Midnight who took the glory, Mercedes on the day, but we'll be back next time for more fun and games at Monza. We'll see you there. Take care.
Thank you.